Hi everybody, welcome along to our webinar today. My name is Andrew Sims. I'm one of the founders here at SuiteFiles, and I'm coming to you live from our offices in sunny Wellington in New Zealand. Thanks a lot for coming along to the webinar today. We are using the GoToWebinar tool, so that means I'm recording today's session, just so you're aware of that. After the webinar today, that recording will be processed and sent out to everyone who registered for today's event. Also, by using GoToWebinar, it means that at any stage you can ask questions. You simply type them in to the GoToWebinar system and they'll come up. We will have time at the end of the session to have a look at those questions and answer them for you. But please feel free to type questions in at any stage when they come up. So today's webinar, what we're going to do is give you a little bit of an introduction into SuiteFiles and what we can do to help you become more efficient, I guess, in your practice management, and especially when working with your files. I'll share a couple of slides, and then we'll have a look at a SuiteFiles demo. In particular, we're going to concentrate on how we integrate with the Xero Practice Manager and also our email integration. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, first of all, I would like to give you a little bit of an introduction into who we are here at SuiteFiles. We're a small business. We are 6 years old now. We had our 6th birthday earlier this week. We are what you'd call a born in the cloud business. That means everything we do is cloud-based. Everything we've always done has been cloud-based. We've never actually had local server infrastructure or anything like that within our business. So real cloud proponents and really do believe that getting your entire business into the cloud is a great solution. We have a very strong relationship with Microsoft. Everything we do is built on Microsoft's cloud platforms, those being Office 365 and their Azure platform. And we've always had that association with Microsoft, and it's very strong and ongoing. Around about 7 years ago, Xero launched an initiative which they called the Modern Practice. They had done a job at that stage, really started the process at that stage of convincing accounting firms that they should take their accounting systems to the cloud. What they then started advocating was taking the entire practice to the cloud, and that was where SuiteFiles really was born through that whole process, and the whole idea that you could turn the server off behind the scenes and run your entire business from the cloud. So we've been involved in that sort of modern practice initiative right from day one, and it's still something that's going today, and something that if you talk to people at Xero, they certainly strongly recommend. SuiteFiles is a system that is built for the small to medium business marketplace. The relevance of that, I guess, is really in saying that SuiteFiles is not an application that was built for enterprise organizations with enterprise scale features, prices, and functionality. It was designed specifically for the small to medium business market. Likewise, it wasn't built for the consumer market for people to use at home. It really is a business tool. Because of that, the way that we've designed SuiteFiles, how you interact with it and use it, and the features that are in there are really tailored specifically to the small to medium businesses. And not only are we what I'd call modern practice advocates, but we also have a specific niche with accounting firms. So that niche really comes into our integration with both the Xero HQ product, which has a very rich integration with SuiteFiles, but also integration, as you may have seen, with Xero HQ. We're the only document management system that integrates with Xero HQ. So based on all that, a bit of background as to who we are, how can we help you? What is it that we can do to help your practice become more efficient? First of all, it's about cloud-based file management. So simple, elegant, cloud-based file management, and it can help you get off that pesky old server that you might have sitting out the back of the office. Often files are the last piece of the puzzle when it comes to getting off the server, and when you can shut it down, you no longer need to replace it every 3 or 4 or 5 years to upgrade it, to maintain it, and all the maintenance that goes along with having a server, remote connectivity, and all those sorts of things. If you want to get into the cloud world and get all the benefits of being cloud-based, accessing your information anywhere, anytime, on any device, as long as you've got an internet connection, then SuiteFiles is a great solution for that. Email management. So the ability to save emails from your inbox. So when an email comes into your inbox, it is yours, and only you can see the content of it, and save that information into a file management system that other people can see and share that information. Also, we have the ability to save information that's going out of your inbox. So the sent emails can be saved into SuiteFiles as well. So having that central repository where you can keep all your information and you've got a single source of truth, including emails and information that comes in them. As just mentioned, our zero integration, we can really help with that. We are the only provider that has two-way integration between XPM and a file management system, and also we're the only provider that has integration with the Xero HQ, and we'll show you all the XPM integration very shortly. Now, when you migrate to SuiteFiles, just like when you migrate to any system, it's a bit of a process, and there's change required to do that. Often when you migrate other systems, and in particular I assume with your accounting systems, there's a bit of downtime that happens, and you expect that because there's a lot of work to be done. With SuiteFiles, we've developed processes and tools to minimize that downtime, and zero downtime is our goal. In fact, we'd hit that goal 99.9% of the time. What I mean by that, well, on a Friday evening after you've finished at the office, we can remote into your servers, find all your files and migrate them to SuiteFiles. And on Monday morning, when you come back into the office, you're ready to go. So there's no downtime, and we can get going very, very quickly. Rightio. Let's stop with the slides and let's get over into the SuiteFile system and show you around, show you what it can do. Okay, on the screen, what I've got right now is SuiteFiles web app. SuiteFiles is a really simple solution. It is designed purely around the concept of folders and files. So what I've got on the screen, I've got the home screen of SuiteFiles, and on the left-hand side here, I've got a series of subfolders. You can click into a subfolder, and you can see more subfolders under that, and any files that might be in that subfolder appear in a list in the middle of the screen. You can keep drilling. You can have any folder structure you like, and you can put all the files that you need into this folder structure. So really simple, straightforward way of filing your information. At the end of the day, it's exactly the same concept as using a file server and using Windows Explorer to access those files. You've got folders, you've got files. You can navigate your way around and you can find those files. To open a file, it's just a case of clicking on the document, and that's going to open it up. This has opened the file in Word Online, the browser-based version of Word, but if I need to, I can also open that into the Office version or desktop version of Office simply by clicking on that button that I've got just up here. Okay, let's not spend too much time on the actual workings and nitty-gritty of SuiteFiles. Let's go and switch over to the Practice Manager and have a look at our integration there, and then we'll come back to SuiteFiles and show you some other things that we can do once we've set up the Practice Manager properly with our integration points. Okay, so in the Practice Manager, when you've got it set up to connect to SuiteFiles, the easiest way to determine that it's all set up properly is when you go into a client record and you go to the Documents tab. What you'll see is a view into the client's folder that's got in SuiteFiles. The Practice Manager looks for a client folder in SuiteFiles with exactly the same name as the client in the Practice Manager itself. So let's go over here. Here's the 99 Corporation client folder. We've got a dozen subfolders here and 9 or so files. And you can see over here, we've got the subfolders and we've got the files all in place, all as you can see inside of SuiteFiles. So that's great. We can access those files through there. But also what we can do when we're working in the Practice Manager is that if we create a new new client, we can get SuiteFiles or the Practice Manager to actually generate a new client folder in SuiteFiles for us. So let's just get ourselves a new client and let's click Save. The Practice Manager will now look inside of SuiteFiles and work out whether there's a client folder with that name in there or not. And if there isn't, you'll see this form pop up on the screen. And this asks us, do we want to create that client folder in SuiteFiles? Of course, the answer is yes. And of course, we also want to use one of our folder templates. Now, folder template is a structure of subfolders that we can put into the new folder that we're about to create. So under our Good Time Fridays Limited client folder, I'm going to use the new client folders company folder template. And that's going to create a series of subfolders under my client folder. So I just click Create and we come back into SuiteFiles. Let's go into our client folders here, clients folder here, and Good Time Fridays Limited, there we are. And you can see there are my subfolders that I've set up as a result of that folder template. And we can go down multiple levels of folders in that folder template as well. If we go back into the Practice Manager and go to the Documents tab, what we'll see is that folder structure that we had inside SuiteFiles displayed here on the user interface. And just to show you that the Practice Manager is looking into SuiteFiles in pretty much real time for that user interface and showing the files, let's grab a file from my desktop here. Let's drag and drop it onto SuiteFiles and load it up into this Good Time Fridays Limited client folder. We go back to the Practice Manager and just refresh here, and you can see there's that file being uploaded through the SuiteFiles user interface, but now being displayed through the Practice Manager. So when I create a new client, I can test to create the new client folder in SuiteFiles. When I archive a client, I can archive the client folder in SuiteFiles. When I edit a client and change the client's name, I can change the client name in SuiteFiles also. So we get this synchronization of client folder information from SuiteFiles with the Xero Practice Manager. Right, what I want to do now is just edit this client a little bit more and put some more information down against the client so I can then start to use this information in other ways. So let's just fill in this info here. I'm also going to check this box here to say that the GST registered, and I'm going to click Save. Now that I've got some information about the client in here, I also want to put a contact in. So this is going to be this person here. And now my client has a whole series of information set up. We've got some address details, contact person, and some other bits and pieces of information all stored here against the client. What we can do now is we can start to use that information in templates inside of SuiteFiles. So if we come back to SuiteFiles and go to our template gallery, I have a couple of letters here, including this year-end letter 2017. Now this document or template has a set of custom fields in it. These fields are simply pieces of text that can be replaced by information that is sitting inside the Practice Manager. In this case, I've got this client business name field. That's just going to be a straight swap with the business name for the client in the Practice Manager. I checked the box to say that the client was GST registered because I can use some logic in my fields. And here what I'm doing is I'm saying if that checkbox for being GST registered is checked, then I'm going to show that text. And if it's not checked, which is this tag here, then I'd show this text. So we can put some logic in behind the scenes and get the templates working a little bit smarter for us. Also, these address fields have logic as well. So what they're doing is they're looking first and foremost to see whether there's a postal address for the client, and if there's not, it'll be used the physical address if there's one set up inside the practice manager. Okay, so let's have a look now at how we use that template. So I'm going to go and find our client folder, Good Time Fridays Limited, and I'm going to create a new file based on this template. That's simply done by clicking the Create button, choosing from a template, choose your template from your template picker here. At this point, we get a Choose a Client drop-down list. If we start choosing, you can see we've got Good Work Fellas Limited, but that's not my Good Time Fridays Limited folder or client. So my client that I'm looking for actually isn't in my list at the moment, and that's to be expected because the list of clients that we can pull information back from the practice manager is something that gets cached on a daily basis, and that happens when you open SuiteFiles every day. Now I need to refresh that cache, and I can do that by simply clicking the refresh link here. That only needs to happen once. It should be finished now. There we go. There's our client. Let's choose them. Choose that. The system has also suggested a name that we use for the new template based on the template name and the client name. I can override that if I need to, but for our purposes today, let's just go with that name. And I click Create. So what happens now is that that document is created inside the folder. Oh my gosh. Okay. Perfect for a webinar. What should have happened is it would be created inside the folder here. It looks like it's created, but something's not quite gone right. It should have opened up like that for me, so just a little glitch there. What you can see is the file has been created, the business name, the address details have all been populated. Because we registered the client for GST, we've got the bit of text in there that we that was put in that tag if we check the checkbox. So very quickly, that file can be template can be turned into a new file, the piece of content can be reused, and we can add information from the practice manager. And that, actually you can also see there's the file sitting there inside my Good Time Fridays Limited folder. And that's how we can use information from the practice manager to populate documents. Let's flip over now and let's open up Outlook. And I'll show you our email integration that I was talking about a few slides ago. So we're just going to get the right Outlook profile here. And as this opens up, what you'll see in Outlook on the right-hand side is an add-in that we're loading up. And this add-in is connecting to my SuiteFiles site. Now this is the same SuiteFiles site as I'm looking at when I come into the browser here. And it's the same folder structure and files. So if I come into the clients folder, I should be able to find Good Time Fridays Limited, and you can see there's the folders and files for this client. As I mentioned at the start of the webinar, when it comes to our Outlook add-in, what it's designed for is getting information out of your inbox into your file system so that other people can share the content of your emails amongst themselves and use it for the purposes that they need to for their daily work. How we do that is very straightforward. I've got an email here. This email has an attachment, plus it has some content in the body of the email. If I wish to save the attachment, what I need to do in the Outlook add-in is navigate to the folder I want to save it into. So in this case, I'm just going to do it under the Good Time Fridays Limited folder, and I can select the attachment and drag and drop it over onto the SuiteFiles Outlook app, and then you can see that document is loaded into SuiteFiles now. So really easy to get your attachments off your emails and into SuiteFiles. If I wanted to save the entire email, so all the content of the email, plus also the attachment, I can just simply drag and drop the email from my inbox over onto the SuiteFiles Outlook add-in, and you'll see that email now loaded into SuiteFiles there. To prove that these files are going back into SuiteFiles, let's have a look at the folder. There you go, you can see it sitting right there. So very simply, I can get information from my inbox into SuiteFiles through the use of my add-in over on the right-hand side of Outlook. I can also get information out of SuiteFiles into emails to send very easily. So if I create a new email, I click Attach from SuiteFiles, and the browser comes up, and I could search or navigate, find my folder that I'm looking for, click on a file that I wish to have loaded into the email as an attachment, and it just simply inserts the file into my email, ready for sending. Now, just as we can create document templates, we can also create email templates. An email template has exactly the same, I guess, idea behind it. You've got some content that you want to send out in an email and you want to reuse it. So I could do something like write some content in here. And I can simply click Save as Email Template, give this thing a name, and if I want to include the attachments in the template, simply check the box to do that and click Create. Now that email template is saved into SuiteFiles and it's available to all users in your organization. All they need to do is create a new email, click Insert from Template, there it is on the list there, choose the template, and there you go, you've got your email. Now, let's have a look at another email template that I created a while back. Oops, not that one. There we go. This email template here. So what you can see is I've got a subject, and the subject has one of the fields that we were using in our document templates. I've got fields in the body of the email as well. Plus I've got this attachment. The attachment has a field in its name. And if I open the attachment, you can see the fields sitting in the attachment itself. So if I now open my email again, create a new email, go Insert from Template, at this point I can actually choose from my client list in XPM. There's my new client. Let's click Pre-populate, and what will happen now is all the information that I've got in the Practice Manager that can be substituted into the email will be done. So subject line has been updated, the salutation's been updated, account manager, the partner name. Didn't update the client ID because I didn't put that into XPM when I set up the new client. My attachment has had its name updated, and also the content of the attachment has been updated with information about our client. With that all done, I can then think about sending my email. Obviously, I might want to adjust a couple of things if need be to customize it, but when I send it out, just as you want to keep the information that comes into your inbox in SuiteFiles, there'll be information that you want to keep that you're sending out to other people, and you want to keep that in SuiteFiles also. To do that, all you do is click Send, and you'll see this pop-up form appear, and you can navigate your way through your folder structure and click Send and file it, and that email will be saved into our client folder that we've got here, this Good Time Fridays Limited. We just need to refresh, and there is the email saved into there, ready for other people to look at when they want to come and find information from SuiteFiles. All right then, so that is really the quick whirlwind tour of SuiteFiles, and the really important functionality that most accounting practices are taking up and running with as a part of their changeover process, and getting off their server and getting into the cloud with their files. Just to wrap up, we will go back to our little slide deck, and the next thing I can do is ask if there are any questions. So we've got plenty of time. If you do have questions, please feel free to type them into the GoToWebinar tool, and we can answer those. I guess just as a starter for 10, if you've got questions and are typing them in, I can also address a couple of key things that, or commonly asked questions that people have. SuiteFiles is built on Office 365 from Microsoft, so you do have to have an Office 365 account, and that is something that you need as an extra with SuiteFiles. As a result of having the Office 365 account, all of your files are actually stored in that account. You get a terabyte of storage capacity, which is tons of capacity. That's a terabyte out of the box with Microsoft. If you need more, you can actually increase it up to 24 terabytes, but you do have to pay for that extra capacity. One of the key things about knowing or understanding that your files are stored with Office 365 and with Microsoft that if you are a company that's, when you set up your Office 365 account, says you're based in Australia, that means that the Australian data centers will be used for the storage of your file information. So those data centers are in Melbourne and Sydney. Okay, question through here. Can you explain the integration with Xero HQ? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite sure how much I can demo of it. I'm not quite set up for that today. But what I can tell you is that when you're setting up with Xero HQ, the integration is less than what you're seeing with what we've got with XPM. We can still synchronize your client list from Xero HQ into SuiteFiles. That is done by simply after you create your clients in HQ, you come into SuiteFiles and come to the clients folder and click the Sync Clients button option here. What that does is it looks inside of HQ and it finds all of the latest, or all of the clients that you've created since the last time you ran a sync process. It'll list them all for you. You can toggle on and off which ones you wish to create inside of SuiteFiles, and you can also choose whether you want to use a folder template when you create those client folders. Unfortunately, HQ doesn't have anything like the Documents tab that XPM does, and also HQ doesn't have as rich an API for bringing back as much information. All the custom fields and all those sorts of pieces of information that you're keeping with the Xero Practice Manager, you can't necessarily keep with Xero HQ, and so we can't use that information in the population of documents or emails from your templates. So yeah, I guess what I'm saying there though is that with the HQ integration, we can pull some information back about your client, and we can use that information in our templates. So hopefully that answers that. Okay, any other questions at this stage? Another question that people often ask me is, how much does it cost? What I've shown you today with the web app and the Outlook app and the XPM integration, and what we've shown you is what we call our advanced XPM integration. So there's everything that we do is in there. That is a standard cost of $18 per user per month. It comes in our plan called Full Suite. All right then, there are no more questions at this stage, so one last slide. That's really just to say thanks. If you wish to get in touch and ask some questions directly, please feel free to do so. My email address is there, andrew@suitefiles.com. If you wish to just go straight into having a trial, then of course you can do that as well. You can get a trial of SuiteFiles from our website, www.suitefiles.com. All you need to do is click the button to request a trial. At that point in time, you will get sent some information because we need to access your Office 365 account and use that for deploying SuiteFiles too. All right. Given that there have been no other questions, I hope that what we've managed to do today gives you a good understanding of how SuiteFiles works, and hopefully it's going to be a tool that you'll consider for your business. I do have a very short 2-question survey that we'd really appreciate you answering once the webinar is over. And thank you in advance for doing that, but also thank you for taking 35 minutes of your precious time on a Friday afternoon to come along and find out a bit more about SuiteFiles. As I say, hopefully we've shown you something that is of interest for your business, and we can get you working with a trial to test it out and make sure that it is going to do all the things that you need for file management inside your organization. Thanks again, everyone, for coming along. I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a wonderful weekend.